A very good morning to you. How you doing? Welcome to your world. I know. There's a lot of pomp and color and celebration in studio early in the morning, celebrating 1 year of fixing the nation. So congratulations to that amazing team. And I know we owe you about 27 minutes and we'll make sure that we cover for that. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Mikali Mary and your world today. I know it's Relationship Tuesday and we'll get to that later on the show. But right now we're talking about something that is quite important. You know, with the current rise in pricing, ya chakula, climate change in the country, and all of the things that are happening, it's gotten to a point where us as Kenyans, we need to take a look inward. What can we do? How should we change things? What did we ignore that we need to get back to right now? Those foods that you are looking at, be like, that's shady. That's nakula no atuoko shago. That is probably where we're looking at right now. So that is the conversation we're getting into today. And we're talking about projects, histories, and futures of underutilized crops reimagined. And I have an amazing panel, experts at this, and they're doing something phenomenal in this country. I cannot wait to hear more about it and see how that changes the situation in this country. Because if you're looking at statistics right now, over 4 million Kenyans face acute food insecurity. And yet we had so many indigenous crops that we've totally forgotten about them. What if we look at that? What would change? How would things get better? Is this a solution that we've been waiting for? I don't know. We're about to find out. Let me introduce my panelists this morning. And starting on my immediate left, if Winnie was here, we'd do this together. But on my immediate left, we have Professor Priska Tanui of Moore University. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you. Right next to Professor Priska, we have Dr. Lillian Korir-Cheriot, University of Lincoln, who's a project principal investigator. Karibu sana, lovely to have you on the show. And I'm interested about the next guest because I want to find out how that works out with the food situation. I'm really, really curious. Right next to Dr. Lillian, we have Jacob Thompson-Bell from the University of Lincoln, who's a music expert. Lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you.
It feels like you said thank you in a musical way. Thank you. Or something like that. Right next to Jacob, we have Dr. Patrick Maundu. This I had to Google and even learn how to say because before Niume Ulimi. We have Dr. Patrick Maundu, ethnobotanist. Did I say that right?
Thanks.
I sound like I'm intellectual and all. I know what I'm talking about, so we'll get to that as well. Last but not least, we have Matthew Hannaford. I said that right?
Perfect.
I got it right. Good. From the University of Nottingham. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're talking about something that probably, when you talk about indigenous food, I'm just thinking of where I grew up or where I went to school. I went to school in a place that people made fun of. They thought that this place does not actually exist. And you'd hear, because I'm Kamba, so they would say, Kadanzweni, it feels like it's far away. It's like in the middle of nowhere. But that's where I grew up in school. And the things that we had, when we had yellow maize, yellow beans. Those are things that I ate from class 4. You'd have yellow porridge, mahindi, mesiagua, milled, I don't know how to say it. But there were things like you'd find arrow roots and stuff like that. And it's things that we probably did not enjoy eating then. It felt like you were being forced. And growing up, I remember feeling, I am grown now. I can afford pizza, guys. I can afford nice things now. What are those things? And bringing this conversation to the forefront, why is it important to the Kenyan now? What does it mean to go back into history and talking about the future at the same time? And we can start with you, Professor.
Thank you so much. It's quite important to go back because we realized that our indigenous foods were more nutritious than the foods that we call the advanced, the so-called advanced, the pizzas that you are craving.
I put myself out there, so it's okay. We can go with that. Yes.
And they are nutritious.
Yes.
When you get sick and you go to hospital, you're referred back to those vegetables, the indigenous vegetables and the millet ugali. What we keep on saying, it's backward. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
It's because of the history behind. Slowly, it was marked backward.
Yes.
If you eat that, you're primitive. yet it's what builds our bodies. It's what keeps us going in terms of our health.
Yeah, it's interesting because now when we get older, like when I look at my folks now, those are the things. And just the other day, my dad brought me leaves of guava leaves and soursop leaves. And I'm just 30, well, I'm 38 this year. But, you know, so when you get older, you feel the importance of going back to those things because I don't know what really happened in terms of changing the mindset. But when you get older, you see them going back to those things. Yeah,
it's quite interesting. And also, if you think about it.
Yes.
Food security is a very popular topic, right?
Yes.
But when we think about food security, we don't actually think about what that means.
It's just with plenty food.
Yes.
See, which is not the truth.
Which is actually what everyone thinks.
Yes.
We think about access, but we don't think about utilization. And that's really important. That's where sort of why this debate is coming back.
Yeah.
Because we need to think about what is getting in, how is it utilized in our bodies, right?
Okay.
And when we start having those conversations, we talk about what glycemic index, for example, and we are saying when those foods are digested, what happens inside our bodies? How fast are they converted, for example, into energy? So you recently saw people talking about ugali, the white ugali being very bad. That was a headline, right?
Yes.
But if we compare the white ugali and the brown ugali, you realize that this one is converted to sugar very fast, so it spikes the sugar levels. If you compare with the brown ugali, for example, nutritionists will tell you that one is being digested very slowly, right? So that is an important aspect. It's very common in the UK. We just say it has very low glycemic index, so that is a good food because it means one, we are filled. It takes time for it to be converted, and also unashiba.
Yes.
And it takes longer for you to want something else. That's why we are mostly encouraging people to reduce how much carbohydrates they are taking, for example. But people don't know why we are saying you should not eat a lot of chapati, we should not eat brown. But they're not getting into the deeper discussions into why it's utilization.
Okay, okay. And we're going to get deeper into what, because we can do the surface level and why it's important for everyone to get onto that and not just I'm feeling like I'm a bit heavy now, I need to just watch I'm eating, but just from the onset, because before it gets to a point where you need to reverse some of the adverse effects of the life that you've been living. Jacob, we got to you. Please explain, music expert, with this conversation.
Music and food, so my area of expertise is in music and food, the kind of relationships between them. So I'm really interested in how music can enhance the things that people are eating. So there's loads of research out there that shows that particular kinds of sounds, wherever you are in the world, feel like they go well with certain kinds of flavors. So high sounds go with sweet flavors, low sounds go with bitter flavors. Look it up. If you don't believe it, it's like a magic trick, honestly.
What do you mean?
It's fascinating.
Like if I want to eat a lemon right now.
Yeah, well, you can find a frequency for that too.
Really?
Trust me. Yes, spice, crunch, all sorts of things. So all of the things that are kind of pleasurable, the sensory parts of food, you can enhance those through sound, but that's not where it stops. There's more to it. And I think for this project, for what we've been talking about here with respect to indigenous crops in Kenya, the thing that is really important that music can do is to kind of bring alive the cultural aspect of it. So on the face of it, this might seem to be about food security. You know, we talked about really, really important things like nutrition, health, biodiversity, climate adaptation, all of these kinds of things which are rightly at the top of the agenda. But we're also talking about food sovereignty. So Kenya is such an exciting place to be in because it's changing so rapidly. There's so many things happening. And I don't think the purpose of this project is to say to people, you must not eat this. It's more about saying, here is a whole load of food, here is a whole load of culture that you can have, that is valuable, that is worth something to you. And not just because it tastes good, not just because it's good for your body, but also because it connects you to that cultural heritage. So in terms of what we've been doing with this research project, a lot of the work that the music is doing, and I'm working with lots of Kenyan musicians as well, is to connect to that heritage, to take that heritage and then to kind of unlock people's imaginations about where it might go. When we talk about the future, we're not really just talking about some abstract thing. The future doesn't exist. It is not here, but we know what the past is, and we need to be able to connect to that to be able to grow in a sustainable way, in both senses of the word, not just in terms of the climate, but also in terms of culture, so that we kind of hold on to who we are. And I think those questions are paramount if you're in Kenya, if you're in the UK, if you're anywhere in the world, because we are changing.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see how that transforms or gets into the market, the absorption of it, because we have conversations, but to see this come to light, I think it's a beautiful thing that we've been having this conversation now, and that it's not just happening in the urban sector. This is going into the rural places where those things are available, and we'll get to how available are those foods. Are some of them extinct? Are they there? Can we bring them back? And all of that. But Dr. Patrick, please, tuanze na title. What is that? Yes, please.
Yeah. It's basically someone who studies the relationship between plants and people.
Yes.
Ethno for ethnic and botany for botany.
Yes.
So I look at that relationship and in this case, the relationship between the people of Kenya and their food heritage. That cuts across all sorts of foods, vegetables, grains, legumes, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Including even our traditional brews.
Yes.
I look at all that. And why is this important? Because we, as a nation, we have very diverse communities. People talk about 42, but it's not 42. We are close to 70 communities in this country.
Okay.
And each of those has its specific set of foods they consume. Be they plants, plant-based, animal-based. I look at all that. And it's been a long journey because over time, Kenyans have been narrowing their food base. The diversity, and that has been worrying to some of us, because that is coming together with other consequences like non-communicable diseases, food insecurity, nutritional insecurity, all that. And if you look at something like traditional vegetables that we have in this country, we have documented over 200 of them. But now here we are as Kenyans just narrowing ourselves down to sukuma wiki, cabbage, and what we call spinach. Elsewhere it's known as the Swiss chard.
Yes.
Just those 3 or 4. Yet we have all these many others, kina managu, terere, and you can go to close to 200.
Yes.
In this country. We have a lot. But over time, we have tended to really ignore them and consider them or term them foods of the poor, of the backward, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think the time has come. And it started some time back. I think the momentum is gaining, is getting it's getting louder and louder that we should go back to our traditional foods. If you have to tackle some of the things that we are seeing now, climate change, insecurity, food insecurity, and so on and so forth. Thanks.
Okay. Maybe, Matthew, we can just talk about the climate change and how it affects all of this. You know, over the years, we've seen things change, properly change in terms of climate. We knew exactly, I'd remember my grandma used to know at this point it's gonna rain and it will stop at this time. They'd look at the moon, somehow it relates, I don't know. But how has that probably contributed to, having the indigenous crops available or not available, the extinct of them, if at all they are?
Yeah, that's a fascinating question. I think that we're seeing more of a trend towards extremes, whether that's drought or extreme rainfall, floods, and also coming with that is increasing prevalence of pests. However, on the other hand, what we've found by digging into the past is that these kinds of extremes, although maybe not as severe or as frequent as they're becoming, they were happening in the past. 100 years ago, there was a period of great climatic instability, going from extreme rainfall in one year to extreme drought in the next year. We had locusts as well. And also at the time of the British came into Kenya, there was a famine at the end of the 19th century that really lived very long in the mindset of the colonists, because they saw and they sort of cast their own lens onto these crops and thought that they were insufficient to provide for people's sustenance. They thought that because of this extreme period of drought, pests, locusts, there was also cattle epidemics as well, and that really coloured their views of traditional and indigenous agriculture and foods. And in fact, they placed blame onto the people, onto the crops themselves, for sort of facilitating that famine. So there was this very long period of sort of 50 years where most of the colonial officials would not even entertain promoting these indigenous crops. In fact, they were working against them. They were promoting introduced crops that they thought could avoid these kinds of food insecure moments. And in fact, when it did come to, when maize did fail, for example, they resorted to looking at cassava, looking at sweet potatoes, other introduced crops that, of course, have been there a long time, but they would not go towards millets, they would not go towards sorghum, and indigenous leafy vegetables, as Patrick was talking about, they completely ignored altogether. They characterized them as weeds.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, and it brings a very important conversation, because some of the things, like Dr. Patrick said, there's over 200, species that we could consume, but we only know a handful. So the importance of passing on that information, because I mean, I don't think I know 10. I don't think I do. I don't think I know 10. Probably I'll know just about 5, and cabbage is in there as well. So the importance of passing that on, and where is this knowledge now? Are there people still in parts of this country that are still holding on to this and are passing that information on, and probably what this project is doing to make sure that we know, and that I pass on to my children the same information, that, we don't have to do this. We could actually go back this way and we'll find something that's more helpful.
Thank you. When we interviewed the elders and the ladies and the men, they still have the knowledge of their indigenous crops, be it the cereals, sorghum, millet, and the vegetables. And in the exhibitions, we were able to see very interesting vegetables, which I used to see my mother collecting and cooking for us. Yeah. I was quite excited, because at some point it was, there was war, as Matthew said. There was war against these crops. But these indigenous crops, however much there was war in the colonial period, the policies were for maize, for the reasons Matt has said, and also to feed the labor force. It was easy to use maize to feed them than millet, sorghum. Yes. These crops have survived. They are still there. Only that the young generation do not know it, and they term them, as we said, backward, something not to it. And the war was not only the colonial policies. Yes. It was quite interesting. Even schools, there are 4K club. I don't know whether you still remember the 4K club, the farming groups. Yes, were for kales and cabbages, maize. The indigenous crops were left out. But our forefathers even our grandparents still hold the knowledge. And that knowledge is what we collected from the field, and we would like to really disseminate to the world that it's still there. Those people are still there. We'll show you some samples and tell you the goodness of some of those samples.
Are you sure? I've not seen, probably, I don't know 3/4 of what you guys have brought, right? I can't wait to experience that. But and it's just not just the foods as well, because there were also treatment things. I remember when I was little, I'd have a boil, and my grandma would just go to the farm and smash some herbs and then just place them there, and the next day you wake up without the boil. So there was so much that probably we've forgotten, or probably now we've just that was grandma. I have insurance. I can, go wherever. But what is the connection? What is the connection of, the food shortage that we have, the food insecurity now, and indigenous crops?
Yeah, so first of all, to link to what Matt and Priska were talking about, why we actually focused on the history, it's very important for us to really understand why the terms actually that they are used for these crops, we call them underutilized crops, neglected crops, orphaned crops. So when you're coming to the ground, you can't use those terms, right? You'll say indigenous, traditional crops.
But the truth is,
they were actually marginalized, right? That they do not exist in the books. If you read a lot of documentation, they do not exist. If they are mentioned, they are only probably if there was a concern on nutrition or famine, as Martha said. So linking that history, understanding that first will help us to start thinking about pathways. How can we now revive this? We want to start having this conversation so that we can ask ourselves, how can we consume these crops now? How can we involve a variety of the generations? We can't just say young people, it's even us, right? We've been colonized in our minds to feel that these crops are actually not good for us or they're very backward. So for the project itself, we started with understanding the history of these crops and why they were actually marginalized, so that it can help us now to engage with the community and the youth. That's now the section that we are at now, trying to revive these crops in the public imagination. And the public imagination is the youth. We are talking to them. And how... Yes.
I don't think so. Past the youth now. But yes.
Yes, we are all youth. I'm youth.
It's okay.
Yeah. But importantly, actually, what we approached is there's something called challenge-based learning, for example. And when we are working with the youth, we give them a challenge. We tell them, we want you to come up with ideas, broad ideas about these indigenous crops. Come up with creative ways of how we can start making people reimagine a future with these crops. And that's how we worked with the community, and that's how we worked with the technical colleges, where we were doing the case studies, and we can do it toward later on. But that's how we approached it, because now it makes them research more and start asking questions to their parents, to their grandparents. How are we consuming this? Right? Why were we consuming these crops? So it was making them do more research, trying to reimagine those crops, and then coming up with products that could be consumed. You would have a cookie, and it has managu there. It has saga. Yes. There are juices, there are cakes, there are all
managu.
Yes. Smoothies.
Well, smoothie, I see.
Yeah.
We're healthy
and
now.
It's lovely. It's lovely. You'll have a taste, I hope. We have some. But that's how we're approaching it, because it's very hard to change mindsets without you actually eating it and saying, is this a cookie from managu, right?
Yeah.
Is this a cookie from saga, for example? A cake from sorghum. Millet. So we are making people now, let's see, how can we expand? Because we are expanding the choice, we are expanding the biodiversity, we are thinking about diet diversity. What is in our plates, for example? What are we including? Because if you think about what we consume, it's just our ugali, mboga, nyama, right?
That's the only food we know. It's and the portions are interesting, because half of it is my ugali, white one, and then just a drop of meat and a drop of mboga. And we don't want the
ugali to disappear in our plates.
Yes, so oh my God! So when you talk about the ages of this youth that you're using, what's the bracket?
Technical colleges.
Okay.
So young. But when we first collected the first part, where we were working with Jake, we were working with actually the community, and that was very interesting. You know,
why?
Because
what happened?
They felt seen. You can imagine. They're like, how are these people talking about our crops? How are those people concerned about these crops? What is new, right? And then when we were going, I remember when we were writing the project, and we used the term food campaign. And in Kenya, the word campaign is a different terminology, right? But when we were in the field and we were having these conversations with people, we actually felt someone will come back and tell me, nimeenda kupanda hiyo mboga. I'm going back to check what is in my farm actually. Have I included this in my kitchen garden, for example? Do I have the millet, the sorghum? And even the women will tell us that actually we've reduced how much we are planting, right? And those are the things that we really want people to really start thinking and having conversations and encourage each other and talk about it, so that we understand actually why we are renewing this. We want people to start having this conversation.
Because even the resilience of some of these crops will probably fight through whatever climate is happening. So it's not just having different kinds of food. It's food that will go through the storm and come over on the other side, still strong and still healthy and still standing over the years. But what has been the reaction? Probably it's just me. It's probably just me, Jacob. What's the reaction when it comes to people hearing this concept and mixing music and food, especially locally? And like I said, when I hear the technical colleges, it's not In Nairobi, it's Ukondani Nisoti. Kama, where is it?
Bomet and Cabernet.
And Cabernet. So it's out of the urban centers. How is the reaction to that, and how have people probably absorbed or consumed the correlation of the two?
Well, I mean, the first thing to say is it's been surprisingly easy. Okay. When I started designing the workshops that we were going to do in Baringo County, in Bomet County, I was thinking, how forthcoming are people going to be with singing?
Yeah.
How many songs will they be able to recall that relate to indigenous foods? And the answer is very forthcoming, and a lot of songs. And the thing that was really interesting for me was working with Kenyan musicians to kind of draw out things that were inside of people. You used the word introspect earlier, and that is exactly what this is about in the musical sense, because it's easy to say that people have forgotten, but actually, I'm not sure that they have. I think those songs, those cultural ideals and values, that heritage is still there, particularly in the older communities, in the more rural areas. People had a lot to say and a lot to sing. They had songs about preparing the ground, they had songs about sowing seeds, they had songs for praying for rain in advance of sowing, they had songs for harvest, songs for food preparation, songs for eating, songs for heightening the anticipation. We recorded one, Sole Sole, so it's children waiting for their parents to come back from the shamba to bring the food, and they're singing, they're waiting, they're kind of getting themselves excited about what's coming.
Yes.
So this is here, and we've also heard at the technical colleges Tugan songs, we've heard Kamba songs, we've heard Kalenjin songs, we've heard Maasai songs from young people singing about these things. So I think that in a way what we're trying to do, in my mind, what the music can do is to join up the gaps, is to kind of make things whole again, to glue things back together.
Yeah.
Because these are sort of fragments that people hold on to that we don't want to lose.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's been really instructive, something I've really learned and I've really enjoyed, is how the music is not simply about food in the abstract sense.
No.
It's about a particular stage of that preparation. So it connects you not only to what you're eating, but also to where it comes from, the labor that goes into it, the land itself. And I think, in our current age, when everything just comes to you like that, you order your pizza, it turns up, and it's completely detached from the land. Whereas when we're talking about indigenous crops, we're talking about innovation, we're talking about cookies, we're talking about smoothies, we're talking about modern things that people want, rightly, but we're also talking about where do they come from?
Yes.
What is their meaning? Where are they grounded? And therefore, how can we hold on to kind of who we are in connection to the land itself?
Absolutely. You just brought fond memories to the forefront because they have so many stories today. But growing up, when we'd go to the farm to protect them from rodents and bars, and I only have Kamba names for them in my head. I don't know, squirrels and bar and something. Nandu. So we'd go to do that. We'd go there, and we'd have songs as kids as we're singing to chase away those birds. And when we'd harvest the beans, and the women would be hitting them when they're dry, they'd be doing it in circles as they're singing.
Yes.
I'd forgotten that. Dr. Patrick.
Food is culture.
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of our culture.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about separate food from our culture.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't just appear in your plate.
Yeah.
It's a process of bringing the food to your plate. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There are women down there who have to harvest it and process it. And as Jacob says, there are all sorts of cultural activities that accompany that. You are right. When they are threshing the millet, especially the pearl millet, it's a ceremony.
Yes.
It's a ceremony.
I had absolutely forgotten about that until he talked about it. It was just like, it's not about the eating of the food, it's the process behind it.
Yes.
Because there's also another process where the maize, to make mudokoi, you'd put it in mortar and pestle.
Yes.
And it would be just one woman doing it. It would be several women doing it. And in rhythm as they sing. As mine is down, the other is up. And it's a whole beautiful process to see.
Art, actually.
Yes. But where do we start then, even as we are at you, Dr. Patrick? I know you were just chiming on to that one. But where do we start now where are we at? What are the possibilities out there? We've moved from Mashambani, we're now living up country, we don't have spaces. That would be some of the excuses that were being given, but how can we recreate? I say the excuse because I'm sure there's going to be an answer for that. You can do it wherever you are, but how can we start?
One thing which has to be done, and very quickly, is we need to change the status quo. People's minds are geared towards fast foods and what they are used to. As when we live in town, we are exposed to certain foods, and our tongues and tastes are geared towards that. If you are the type of person who has been eating
pizza,
French fries,
yes.
Of course, trying something bitter like mito, a Western vegetable, or some of the vegetables like managu, which can be bitter.
Yes.
Your taste used to that pizza, you changing to this other, is a bit of work. Changing taste has to start from the family and from very early in life. So it's a process that has to start from the family.
Okay.
One thing we should consider, we should know is we affect the health of our family from the decisions we make at home. If you are a parent and you make the wrong decision for your children, as far as food is concerned, then you affect their whole entire life.
Yeah.
And one problem we are having now is younger mothers have that problem.
Oof.
And mothers are the ones, mainly in Kenyan system, who decide what has to be eaten in the household.
Yes.
So if you go wrong at the mother level, then you affect the children.
That's true.
Yes. And therefore, we feel as we target the nation, we should go all the way down to the family, to the family unit.
Yes.
They should know that health as a result of eating nutritious food is really key to the child.
That is so true. So we're doing the damage ourselves to our own children, like it's you.
Yes.
The reason they're 38 and diabetic is you.
Exactly.
Okay, not necessarily true. We're just going to go on a quick break, pay our bills, then we come back and we'll pick up from that thought right there, Professor Priska. So don't go too far. I don't know if it's getting you worked up emotionally and you need to do better. We are doing a great job over here. Yeah? Yeah? We'll be right back. Welcome back. I don't know what's happening on your end, but on this end, I am learning a lot. The things that I can do and I can change to just make use of crops that we're calling them indigenous now, but we've been told that's just being decent. We've underutilized them. We don't look at them like they're usable. And to be honest, they've given me this. I don't know what it's called in English or their botanical name, but I know them as navi. Navi? That is Kikuyu, I think. And I think I grew up thinking they were food for the snake, like whatever tiny fruit that comes out of Navi is a poisonous because it's snake food, but I'm holding it here now and I'm about to just find out more about this. We'll be talking about it in just a bit. But Matthew, just tell us all this. We have crops here with us. We've got cereals as well. Are these drought resistant? Would we say if we do this, then we're saving this whole country from, the many cases we've had of, raising funds and asking for help when it comes to food because they can actually be drought resistant?
Well, I think to start with, yes, these crops generally are drought resistant. They each have different facets of their sort of material characteristics that allow them to withstand, for example, a dry spell within certain stages of their growth, whereas maize is extremely sensitive to water deprivation. And so particularly indigenous leafy vegetables, if there was a prolonged drought, the elders were telling us that these were really the first line of defense against food shortages. So yes, they are drought resistant. I think one of the things that was quite interesting that the elders spoke to us about was this kind of trade-off between food security and food sovereignty, which Jake was talking about. which is if we do a rapid transformation towards everybody producing indigenous crops, it's not as simple as saying, okay, we're insured against drought now, because there are so many other factors that determine why people grow these crops, from the taste that Patrick was talking about, to the markets that are available, and all these other factors that influence the production of these crops. So we can't simply reduce everything to withstanding a drought or withstanding a flood. So it's really those trade-offs that I think the elders were really quite eloquent about, talking about how in the past people switched from one crop to another and found that there were different effects. Balancing climate against selling crops to raise funds to pay the taxes that the colonial authorities imposed.
Okay. And just before the break, I think we had the question about we live in urban centers now, and they just have space for my little cot, but no space to have these plants. And Professor Prisca, you had something to say about this. Like there definitely is space for something.
Honestly, there's space for everything.
Yes.
Because even those young men and women from the colleges were able to come up with something which was quite interesting. Modern farming, which you can put in your balcony and put vegetables, whichever that you want to introduce to your family. So the excuse of space does not.
I knew that was coming. But let's talk about the beautiful things that we're holding, and we'll just start with this one that, I don't, who told us these lies, guys? Who told me? What were these lies about snakes and this not being good for human consumption? What happened where? Nobody knows. But so what is this called? Other than Navi.
Maundu. Among the Kalenjins, we call it Chelolong. The Nandi call it Mbonik. So
the Kamba call it
we just pass it on.
Ngavu.
Ngavu.
In English, it's a Cape gooseberry. Cape gooseberry.
Gooseberry,
Yes, it's a gooseberry actually, yes.
The Cape gooseberry.
They're sweet?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, I just met someone at the supermarket who's making sauces and chili sauces from it's yellow, right? The fruit is yellow. Okay, and what's in your basket?
Here,
yes,
I have another indigenous vegetable. Among the Kalenjin, we call it seawort.
Seawort.
Stinking nestle.
Stinging nestle. Oh yeah, this is the one that you touch. And then it's so stinging nestle. Dafai.
Quite nutritious.
Quite nutritious. How do you navigate it though? Sorry, you were saying
we had stinging nettle cookies in Bomet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Cookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had a nice punch to them, but they were very good.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Little flecks of green. That's how you know it's stinging. It doesn't taste green. It tastes like a cookie.
Yeah.
Oh really?
It's good. Yeah.
So this is quite nutritious as well.
Nutritious.
And this grows as weed from my mom's side of like where she comes from. This grows as weed. I've never seen us eat it at home at all. We actually used it to fight. Like if we're fighting different people from different sides, we'd grab their shoes and throw them where there's a lot of the fight. And then we'd have won that battle, then go back home. Barefoot.
Here, we have the Ethiopian dock.
Yes.
We call it Mindeyuet.
Mindeyuet.
Among the Kalenjin.
Yes.
It adds taste to vegetables.
Really?
Yes. And it's even chewed as a liver, the way it is. You want to taste, it's sweet.
It's a bit sour.
And one of the singers, an elder, also gave us another use. It's an enhancer.
Okay. Good to know. Well, it's not bitter.
Not bitter, but
sour.
It's okay. Okay.
This was particularly interesting because when we were having those conversations.
Yes. So now this particular one, You can eat it raw, and you can add it while you're cooking.
To your vegetables.
To your vegetables. So I can have my sukuma wiki,
yes.
and as I have my sukuma wiki, just throw this,
yes.
this in, and then it enhances the taste of that.
Yes.
That's very interesting. I can't wait to taste some of this, and I can see on the screen we have beautiful things happening. That's bajia. What's that?
Yes.
Yes.
Bajia made with what? Lobo-chan. Cassava crisps. Okay, at least I know those ones. Achari. So, and then we have some other...
I have seeds. Murenda seeds.
Murenda has seeds?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys. Okay. So what do you do with the seeds?
Plant.
This is for planting. It's not now something to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking, guys.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me hold this for you. Iyo ni sorghum ama ni millet?
Millet.
Millet. Okay. Right. Are there different variants to this? Yes. And depending on what, or they're just different just?
Traditionally, farmers don't keep one variety.
Okay.
Because if you keep one variety, and if it's susceptible to drought or birds, then you lose it all.
Then you lose it all.
So traditionally, everywhere in Africa,
yes,
people used to keep more than one variety.
Okay.
Be it sorghum, be it. You can find sometimes even more than 10 varieties. A sorghum that is resistant to bird, a sorghum that, type of sorghum that matures earlier than others.
Okay.
So that at least if you are hungry, if you are going through a hungry period,
yes,
at least can save you the situation.
Okay.
All sorts of types.
I think they were geniuses.
Yes.
I think they were geniuses.
You can hardly find a family that kept one variety of one thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So their farming system was such that it was mixed, not a monocrop.
Yeah.
Monocrops are the things that destroyed our diversity. Because monocrops, in a monocrop, you just plant one plant, one crop.
Yeah.
Coffee, tea, and that's it. And you have no flexibility at all. Anything that grows underneath is... yet in traditional systems, you tend to mix malenge, vegetables like gourds, maize, and so on and so forth, which are good for the soil, of course, but also good for nutrition in the household. But these systems are now being replaced with monocrops, and now there's a big campaign now to go back to those systems which are more resilient as far as the family nutrition is concerned.
Okay. What's in your basket, though? We finished with this basket.
Yes, I have.
It's plenty.
I have several traditional stuff and also indigenous. By the way, many people confuse these terms, traditional and indigenous.
Okay.
And it's good to clarify this.
Please.
When we talk about indigenous, it means which has developed from a certain region. Yes, like, let me see. Like, this is jahe. We call it lab bean. Lab.
Okay.
Bean.
Okay.
This is indigenous. Why? Because this crop was developed in the region. Of course, you find it all over the world. You go to India, it's there. It's a crop in India, in South Asia, everywhere.
Yes.
But it developed here, meaning it developed here, so it's indigenous. But if you look at malenge, for example.
Yes.
Malenge is originally from Central America. Yes.
Okay.
But it's a traditional crop.
Okay.
Because it's part of our culture. It's a part of our food system.
Yes. So that's traditional. The other one is indigenous.
Yes, because although it was brought from outside, it was not part of our food systems. Now it's part of us, part of our culture. We have developed technologies for processing it and so on and so forth. So that is the difference. Sometimes we tend to mix it.
Yeah, traditional and indigenous.
So we have, this one is traditional. It's originally not from Africa.
Yes.
Nathi.
Nathi.
Nathi, the gooseberry.
Yes.
But it's part of our culture now.
Yes.
So it's a traditional crop now that we have in the region. So I have quite a number of them. We have a kind of sukuma wiki that is found mainly in the coastal region of the country and Western Kenya.
Sarat.
We call it, many people call it kansira.
Kansira, the kasukuma kafupi.
Kafupi.
Yes.
Ethiopian kale.
Aha.
Ethiopian kale.
We call it sarat.
Sarat. You call it sarat.
Okay.
Then we have seeds of managu. But then we have many types of managu. We have like 12 types.
Of managu?
Yes, of managu.
I'm in school right now.
Every region has its own managu. And there are some varieties that are not found anywhere else in the world.
Yes.
They're only found in this region. And therefore, it's an important crop that we should really be proud of, because at least we live in a region where the diversity is highest of managu. So there are many things.
Clearly, and these are just two baskets. I'm imagining what else. And we have something happening at the National Museum. So maybe Jacob, you can tell us a bit about it.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a whole load of different things happening, which are in effect a culmination of all of the activities that we've been talking about. A celebration of indigenous and also, as Patrick says, traditional foods.
Yes. Now that I know the difference.
But also by extension ways of life, looking back to the past, looking to cultural heritage, and then reinventing, reimagining it for the future. The thing that I can speak to most is obviously the music. And in terms of what's going to be exhibited at the National Museums of Kenya tomorrow, we're going to hear what I've called a soundscape. And it basically means that you're going to hear environmental sounds, you're going to hear birds, you're going to hear water, you're going to hear cows, chickens, you're going to hear the rustling of napier grass, and you're going to hear music, you're going to hear speech, and you're going to hear those traditional songs with new arrangements that I built around them in collaboration with musicians in Bomet County and also in Baringo County. So you're going to hear songs about eating. I mentioned Sole Sole earlier. So you can also hear songs heightening the anticipation of food. When's it coming? When are they coming back from the shamba? What am I going to, what will I be able to eat? You're going to hear songs that are traditional grinding songs. You're going to hear music that is about traditional brews. I think we mentioned that earlier. So there's a kind of fun, I think, that maybe we have to make sure we keep in the front of our minds, you know, because these are serious, big questions, and they're big challenges, right? But also, we want to enjoy ourselves. We want to eat some good food, We want variation, and the variation brings that pleasure. It's not just about health and nutrition. It's almost like we want to have a good life, and by luck, it just turns out that having that variation of diet, being able to hold on to that cultural heritage is also actually good for our bodies and for the land. And that's kind of in a nutshell what the exhibition is about, those connections, which is why it's so great to have somebody like Patrick working on the project, you know, connecting, as he says, plants and people. That's really what this is.
Absolutely.
So the music and also the performances from the young people who've come from Bomet County and from Baringo County who won competitions there to actually attend in Nairobi. These are all songs, dances, dramatic performances connected to traditional foods, indigenous foods, reinventing them, reimagining them for all generations, not just for older generations.
This feels like the kind of event that you don't want to miss, especially if you are passionate about food and your culture and where you come from, and even wanting to do better. And it's not just for the people that are there, the government. I don't know at what level we're going with this, and if we'll have a government there as well to just be part of and help push this to the ground as well. So anyone can go. I think we have about 7 minutes.
We have invited a few groups who will be preparing different things. There will be traditional brews, those who want to see how it is prepared, how they are prepared. We also have groups that are preparing different types of foods, traditional porridges. And there will be things which people can also buy from these groups that have been adding value to some of the products. traditional things. Yes.
Great.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
We have a show here called The Foods of Kenya.
Yes.
And we see amazing things that you never thought about. But there are people who are actually living these lives actively. To see that come to the forefront to us, and it's probably taken a long time for that to happen, for us to be here to celebrate this tomorrow. And maybe you can give us details of probably what time is it open for anyone to join in? Do we pay to come and experience all of this? Anyone?
Patrick is
Patrick, yes. Patrick Ndiakoko forefront.
We are starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes.
So you come at about 10, you're still on time.
Yes.
But we'll be opening a little bit earlier because they will set up the stage, the exhibitions, make sure that the groups are set. So at 10 o'clock, you can get in. And then what you see, you'll see all these things. Of course, the foods to taste, and also performances from schools and traditional dances.
Okay.
We have groups that are very good at dancing that will also be participating tomorrow. So we would like to take this opportunity to invite anyone who is in love of traditional foods to pass by.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think we have a choice. We just have to love them and just show up, considering the conversation we've had today and what benefit that has for us. And just before I let all of you go, I will start with Matthew coming this way, is probably what do you want Kenyans to probably take from this exhibition that's happening tomorrow? What is the anticipation, probably the lessons to take and cutting across to everyone else?
Yeah, that's a huge question, but I think the connection between those different elements that we've all been talking about, and that's really been the joy of working in this project. We've had musicians, historians, agricultural economists, ethnobotanists, and more. And I think connecting all those different pieces and those different fragments, and also connecting that to those lived experiences of how we feel when we think about different foods, about we eat different foods. It's reviving those memories as well. I think that's what I hope that people will take
from this. Okay. And probably looking at the preparations that have been done, are we going to be seeing, even as you tell us what you'd like people to take away from this, are we going to be seeing this happen often? Is this one-off? Are we moving from one region, we've been in Baringo, and are we going to be going to some other places? Mkikuja kwetu whatever. No, we have universities there. We have plenty culture. But yes, as you give us your parting shot, and maybe you can add on to that as well. Yes, Priska.
The takeoff from the community is that I would really want them to actually learn about these foods and not wait until when they are sick is when they are referred to these foods. They should at least try and cultivate the taste. However much you say it's not there, it will take time to learn. We are praying that they'll do so.
We can acquire tastes. I mean, we have the responsibility now to make sure that we change for the children that are coming in, and also for ourselves.
Especially mothers.
Yes, especially mothers, because we have a huge responsibility in the homes. Are we seeing after tomorrow? What next?
Yeah, so very interestingly, and I think we are mostly researchers and we open collaborations. And first of all,
let's just try and fix it. Just press that. Is it on now?
Is it on?
Is it on? Just okay, fine. Let's just check that again. Is that on? Okay. I think we'll just find out from, as they sort that out, we'll find out from Jake, after this project, what next then?
Well, I mean, we've been discussing quite a lot of different ideas. I think the question is, how can we narrow it down? Because we get very excited. We think about, how, as you say, we might go to other places in Kenya, how we might link up those kind of food cultures, because we've seen there are differences but also similarities between Baringo and Bomet. How we might create more music, how we might innovate more in terms of food technology, working with some of the technical colleges that we've collaborated with already, just to see what's possible. So I think in terms of next projects, watch this space. And also one more thing I would just love to add is, come along tomorrow, exactly as Patrick says, if you're in love with indigenous foods, but also come if you think you're not. because maybe your mind will be changed.
Absolutely. Mine is changed. Mine is changed. We're going to start with Nadi tomorrow. Cookies made out of managu. I can't wait. I can't wait to taste all of that. And your parting shot as well, Dr. Patrick.
Let's diversify our foods. And traditional foods offer us with a big diversity, big variety that we can choose from. And so for us to diversify our meals, diversify our diets, then let's look at the varieties of cereals, of legumes, of traditional vegetables that's available in our markets. They are now in the market.
Yes.
And sample from those. Try them. Because health is important for the family and for the nation.
That is so true.
Yes.
That is so true. Thank you so much. I think that mic is working now.
I hope it's working now. Yeah.
Yes, it is working, yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Just to say first, thank you for everyone who's been part of this project, the NMK team, the Moi University, the University of Lincoln, Nottingham, and the funder, British Academy, who has been the supporter for this. And they are really interested in this project. And hopefully they're going to give us more money to do a follow-up project. And it's not just the region. And actually the approach that we're using for this, it's not just a Bomet or Baringo. No. It's just a case study. But the crops are diverse.
Yes.
And even the team that Maundu talks about, they are not from Bomet or Baringo. It's really diverse. So anyone who's coming tomorrow, it's not just a Bomet or Cabernet story. It's a Kenyan story. And we are trying to make sure that we have diversity and people can relate to what we are talking about. So yeah, we are really anticipating very good conversations, very good debates, and a showcase of incredible stuff of indigenous crops. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Professor Priska. Thank you, Dr. Korir. Thank you so much, Jacob. Thank you, Dr. Patrick, and Matthew as well for joining us today. I don't know, is it free for everyone?
Yes,
it's free. It's a free event.
Yes.
Just making that clear for my Kenyan peeps.
Yes.
Show up at the National Museum of Kenya tomorrow, just over here. And get in at 10, you're right on time, enjoy amazing food, learn something new, and reimagine a beautiful future with these foods that we've forgotten about and the importance they have in our bodies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you soon on the next chapter, and the money is definitely coming for you to get on to the next one. Asante Sana, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, we're getting into Relationships Tuesday, and we're talking about narcissists and their playbook. We'll be right back.